Oh, oh, yeah. Moshe. Oh, you have. It just got published in Chinese, the time, yeah. You're nice. Really want to focus today on Perek Galad, but we have to finish Perek Gimel. There was a little piece in Perek Gimel we didn't finish last week. It's on page Tzad the Gimel. You see? It's Ochen Nisper Atzaimas Ha'oidfim. The Yidel Chitrik in his book says that he heard the story from Reb Shmuel Groinem Mashpia Lubavitch. It was a person that came to the Baal Shem Tov, and he said that he read in the Sfarim Akdoshim that a person fasts 40 days at a tzufim, and he is mistagim b'segufim, and then he does gilgulim shel shelach. He rolls in the snow. He's oich the Gililio. So how come he fasted 40 days? He even put like these the nails in his shoes instead of outside his shoes. He put them in his shoes, and he went and he rolled in the banks of snow. And how you talking? Leonov never revealed himself to him. So the Baal Shem Tov said, stay for a few days and come back in a few days. In the meantime, the Baal Shem Tov, it's page Sadigim, Shem Tov called his goy, and he told his goy that the horse that they have in the stable, he should lock him up in the stable, not let him out for fresh air. They shouldn't give him anything to eat and to drink for 3 days and 3 nights. And from the third day, the Baal Shem Tov called. They called the seed. And the Baal Shem Tov walked with him to the stable, and he asked the goy to release the horse. And the horse finally, after was starving, and finally had some fresh air. When he went out, the snow started rolling in the snow. So the Baal Shem Tov said, "You see, here you see this creature. He didn't speak one word of lashon hara over 40 years, and he never said anything wrong. He fasted 3 days and 3 nights at Tzufim. Shulchan brings that a person that fasts 2 days and 2 nights is like considered like 40 days of fasting. So back to the story, the Baal Shem Tov said he's fasted 3 days and 3 nights, and he's rolling in the snow. It's not Zoich of a Gililio, you know. He's a horse. So that's the answer, because he's a horse. So so in other words, the Baal Shem Tov, here, you pass me a tiny. The Baal Shem Tov told him, Kilo, what do you expect to get a Gililio? So today, yeah.
What was this guy's whole purpose that he wanted CLEO?
I don't know.
It would make his day better?
I don't know. You got to talk to him. You got to talk to him.
Want a selfie with him? Maybe you can ask him Charles.
Yeah. You got to talk to him.
He's going to ask him when Mashiach comes.
I don't know. You got to talk to him.
Take it.
Okay. Let's learn a little and then we'll talk. Okay. Let's finish up quickly the last piece in the Perek Gimel. Ache Misperat Zoimus, it's in the middle of page Tzad Gimel. Ache Misperat Zoimus Aritz from Areshnu, Bezuk Gavna. All the remember in the Pedig Dal Rebbe brought three opinions about Taniyas that a person does for tshuva. If he did the same chait 10 times, does he fast 10 times for that chait, or one time, or 3 times? Three opinions. The Alter Rebbe said that to fast in his lifetime once for that chait is good, and if he could do it another 2 times, that would be also fine. Auch im Misprat oit für Mareischen und Beisak Haigav, na shoyt Sarach Lisanas, Loch shall das Machmirim, Lisanas Misprat shall call Chet Vashet Kefi Misprat Alam Shachota. So that he shouldn't fast. Alama Yivda Kulam Betzdaka, he should redeem it Betzdaka, Erech Chai Gimel Poilish, Bad Kol Yoim, Gimel Poilish. There was a certain, there's a certain coin. Gedolim, not Gimel. Gedolei Polish, the big Polish coins. Bad Kol Yom, became Bishar Kol Taniyas, Tzorach Lisanas, Alaved Shem Misa. For every other fast that a person has to fast, for any Aveda. I feel Al Bikol Mitzvah say Deraisa, the Rabbanon, if it's a Veloita, and even if it's just Bikol Mitzvah say, V'tam Atorik Kulam, which is something that a person easily stumbles on, which the number for each chait is brought in the Sforim that quote the Arizal, Rubam Niskorim Mishkas Achasidim, the Meseches HaTeshuvah, Hakel, Kasher Lakoil, all of the above, which is sometimes something which is very, very, very egregious, and sometimes something which is so lenient, and but Lapoil makes no difference. The bottom line is, I don't care how egregious the sin is, and I don't care how light it is. Hakol kasher lakol yivda b'tzedakah, that he should redeem everything b'tzedakah, keniskal, as we just mentioned. If he can't give himself the pain of the fast, keniskal. This is the Torah Shebeksav and Tanya. The Torah Shabapez, we know that the Lubavitcher Rebbe was very against fasting. And like the story of the Baal Shem Tov, what happens is a person starts feeling very holy and very special. Instead, the Rebbe gave different eitzes to people to do, which you don't feel so holy and special, but are more effective. And Oila Kolona is what the Alter Rebbe says here is to give a lot of tzedakah, to redeem tzedakah. Now, the exact number of Chai Gimel Gedule Polish is brought in Shulchan Aruch and Shalom Adalet, and exactly how much money and how it translates in money today. I'll talk about it. I don't know when. Maybe Nasai Tshuva will make a special share for this. I don't want to get into lumdus now. We're trying to learn Tanya.
I'm saying Polish currency. The Baal Tanya was.
As I said, I'm going to give a special shir on that.
Right. So this
and I don't want to get into it tonight because it's lumdus that are not negaya so much in understanding the inyan of tshuva. But we'll talk about it. Okay. He's going to give a lot of tzedakah and it'll add up to a lot of money. He shouldn't be concerned that Chazal said, we shouldn't be concerned with that. Chazal said that a person that does that is called a fool, or even worse than that. So the Chazal said you're not allowed to spend more than 20% of your money in tzedakah. So Alter Rebbe says, don't be worried about that. That's not called bizbuz. Because he wants to redeem his nefesh from not having the need of a tainus and sigufim. So there is something about taneis v'sigufim that cleanse the person, and he doesn't want to do taneis v'sigufim. Why does he not want to do taneis v'sigufim? Because, as the Alter Rebbe said before, that if he does a tainus and that brings him down, and mefrat, if it's a person that could have learned Torah, and the hurting himself and the fasting has brought him down, so that's a terrible thing. So instead, he should give tzedakah. He's spending more than 20%. The answer is simple. Like Gorem, Refuas, and Guf, short tzarachav. That if a person has an ailment in his body, you say the Chazal said, so it's also for him to go to the doctor and spend more than 20%. he Rahman al he has Yena Machla. But there's treatment. But for him to do that treatment will spend so much money, it'll be more than 20% of his savings. Say, no, 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 he shouldn't do the treatment. He'd be mishuggah to say such a thing. Obviously, he should do the treatment, and he should spend every nickel he has on the treatment for his life. So Alter Rebbe says, so for the fuas hakuf, you're allowed to spend money more than 20%. So same thing for the fuas hanefesh, you're allowed to spend more than 20%. And because the person wants to heal his nefesh, and and he can't fast that much, so therefore he should spend that money in tzedakah.
So how much did he spend? How much does a person know how much he spent? So
I'm talking about in this in two lines. The emes is there's a lot of throughout the generations there were a lot of beautiful vetlach in this. The Alter Rebbe is giving a very sharp and a very, but there's a story about the Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov, that the Yedua, the Baal Shem Tov used to give all his money for tzedakah. So they asked them, you spend more than 20% of your money on tzedakah? So he said, Chazal said that bizbuz. Bizbuz means, is like you go out for war. So, Melashon Biza. So someone that has to fight with himself to give tzedakah. So Chazal said, fight with your Yetzer Hara and give tzedakah, but not more than 20%. For me, it's my biggest pleasure. I have no bigger pleasure in life than giving tzedakah. So that's Chazal did more in talking about that. It's your pleasure. You can give every nickel you have in your pocket. It's a shayna vord, but I mean, needless to say, I mean, Chazal said that there's a reason for it. You're not allowed to give more than 20% because then your own financial situation is going to become very weak, and what's going to be with you? Chazal not happy with that. So the word of the Baal Shem Tov doesn't answer that. And they say from the vision of Rebbe that Tzemach Tzaddik that they asked him, he also used to give all his money away for tzedakah. So my mother-in-law always said that from her mother. Her mother lived not far away from the vision of Rebbe, and they're Hungarians. So so she said that it was unbelievable that the goyim they hated Jews, and they used to throw rocks, and it didn't matter no rock ever landed on the tzaddik. Anyway, he was to give all his money for tzedakah, and they asked him, so he says, look, you're right. I give 20% tzedakah. Oni comes to me and I'm thinking to myself, could be achzer and I'll give him any more money because I'm not supposed to. Or I'll be in Gehenna. The heck with it. Let me go in Gehenna and help an Oni anyway. So that was his word. And then there's another word, cute word that a metal Futafah said. I'm not sure if he meant it as a joke or he said that when he used to run clandestine yeshivas in Russia, there was a ish pashut that had a lot of money because the money you only made if you did business in the black market. And he had unbelievable atzloch in doing business in the black market. And he had a lot of money. All his money he gave to tzedakah for the yeshivas. And then Mendel told him, you don't keep anything for yourself. You give me all your money. He said, yeah, what do you mean? I heard the Ein Yaakov share. I'm mevazvus. You're not allowed to be mevazvus. The money I spend on myself is one big bizbuz. So I don't spend. So I make sure never to spend for my money for myself more than 20%. The 80% I give to stuff. It's a nice pshat from my yid. But obviously these three pshatim, which are very are beautiful. They warm the heart. The Alter Rebbe is writing over here, Iggeres HaTeshuvah. The Alter Rebbe is encouraging a person to give tzedakah even more than 20%. So Alter Rebbe is explaining, Chazal said, Alter Rebbe says, no, because that's if you're giving it for tzarech haguf. But if you're giving it for the refuas hanefesh, for the refuas haguf, you could give more than, you could spend more than 20% for sure for refuas hanefesh. Because the amount of fasting that are brought in the Sepharim of Tikkun Tshuva are so much. That's why the minhag today for the people that are chored with Dvar Hashem, they just give it tzedakah. Machmas, chalisha sador, de lo motze, letzur nafshei kol ha'ay. Because there's a chalisha sador that they can't be metzad themselves to do taneis and segufim so much, so therefore instead they give tzedakah, and the tzedakah does the same job. Mishkosa makamachar al posek chaz Hashem ki lo yisamonu. The Alter Rebbe asks later, ki lo yisamu. The Eibishas chasadim don't finish. What's the extra nun? So the Alter Rebbe answers, lo yisamonu. We're not complete. So therefore, we give, and the Eibishter gives midah keneged midah, even though we give much more than we need to give, and the Eibishter gives us midah keneged midah more than he needs to give. Okay, let's leave it at this, and let's go into Perek Dalet.
How much is the more? So what's the red line?
No red line. A
No
person
share.
should give as much as he could give. Okay.
Till it hurts.
Until it hurts, right?
I'm bothered how much when the Gemara says is a person has no avails, nothing but stuff to give zakah. Not give it. Now
My-
you're sick and you need to give. Oh,
Right.
And the Max is a complete kavara without all the tillation.
No, he said for this thing that whatever Tanias needs to do, or whatever Tanias needs to do, the tzedakah does the job of the Tanias.
That's good.
Yeah,
What else is left?
yeah. Now we'll learn what else is left. Ulam kol anal hu l'gemara kaporu u'mirka nefesh l'shamach tshuva. This is all the idea of tainus is a special thing, a special cleansing that comes after the tshuva. As we said earlier from the Gemara in Zvachim, the oila doiden hu la'achar sheritza praklik. Sorry, before I continue, I just want to finish. A tiny nakuda, just put enough. Mamash Hashgacha brought this when you learn sometimes it's two sugyas, and they, I'm no giving tonight a shiur, and Iggeres HaTeshuvah. And I'm learning Noirachayim, the Beis Yosef. Beis Yosef tells a story from the Sheboyla Aleket. Sheboyla Aleket says that the was Maisa Shahoyer Reb Avram Reb Yaakov. They came in a city, it was already late. And the people in the city already were walking out of the shul after Ma'ariv. So is it that they were Makabel Shabbos early, or is it Stam because they're Fabla? It doesn't say. Anyway, something that happened 700 years ago in Germany. And the whole call did not tell them Shalom. They didn't say Shalom Aleichem to them. Next day they tried to come to shul, they wouldn't let them come to shul. After Shabbos, the Bezdin decided that they're going to punish them. First, they made them fast 50 days. Keneged the idea of Kodesh, which is 50 years. Then they made them fast 36 days. Keneged the Lamed Vav cases. Then they gave them Malchus.
what did you do?
And then B'Shaboyle, like it says, that this is because it was B'Shoigig, that they came into the city after Shabbos started, B'Shoigig. So that's why they were makel for them. But had it been B'Meizid, would have been much worse. And the Shaboyle Lekit Messiah that Kol Amarbe B'Tikun Tshuva Ka'elu Arezem Meshubach. Whoa. See, I mean, a culture shift from the days of the Shaboyle Lekit to the days of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. Wow. Here, with the Gechapt Schmitz, they made them fast. They made them fast for 86 days. And at the end, they told them, by the way, this you got away easy. You got away easy. We were special lenient with you. And you got a discount here. So when I was reading this, I said, now I get it. We're learning in Perek Aleph, the Alter Rebbe says that Tshuva has zero, the Tanias has zero to do with Tshuva. Varaya, Tanias v'Sigufim have zero to do with Tshuva. Varaya, that the Rambam and the Smag, the Sayyid from Mitzvahs Gadol, doesn't mention it. So I asked at that time, how come the Alter Rebbe doesn't say the Shulchan Aruch doesn't mention it? So whatever I answered then, but I realize now we can't say that. The Shulchan Aruch, Befedish in many places, and Shulchan Aruch brings bring stuff that are wow, hot pepper. I mean, you could miyuchulamet b'kaela. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe says the Rambam and the Smak. The truth is so you're going to ask the Alter Rebbe. So the Alter Rebbe is only so according to Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe is not that's not true. No, it's true anyway. You see from the first of all, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring Taniyas for everything. Here, there, it's sporadic. And also, it sounds from there that it was a special thing that the communities accepted upon themselves back then. Because they thought that this is the way to run, this is the way people will stay in line. But the Baal Shem Tov came along and said, this is not the way. This is Bachal not the way. The Alter Rebbe, here we're going into Perek Daled, so it's a Dvar Pella. It's an unbelievable Pella. 1 second, this unbelievable Pella. The Alter Rebbe is going to say that, let's just read 2 lines inside. Omna mascholas mitzvah tshuva ve'ikra. If you want to start doing tshuva, and what's the ikras tshuva? Is loshem ad Hashem be'emes b'leiv shalom. Is to return to the Eibishter with emes and with a complete heart. So therefore, that we have to explain well. Behekte mashakos v'zayra kodesh rebir milas tshuva al derech hasoid. Pashuv hey tato tshuva tato. Hey lo tshuva lo. So the Alter Rebbe is saying, it's a capella like this. Never Tanez v'segufim. That's a separate thing. After you finish doing tshuva, that's something else. And today we do tzedakah instead. Okay, and charot alavar and vidu dvorim. That's cream. That's the cream. That's just the cream around the tshuva. What's the main thing of tshuva? It's as if it's zachet. But within that there is doing it be'emes or b'leiv shalom. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe is starting to say things of Pikabola, Yutke, Vovke, that the Zohar says it was 2 things in Tshuva. What are the 2 things in Tshuva? The word Tshuva, that Zohar says if you break up the word Tshuva, is 2 words. Tashuv Hey. You have to return the Hey. That is a Yutke, Vovke. And in Yutke, Vovke, there's how many Heys? 2 Heys. So Tashuv Hey, Tshuva Tata, when you return the lower Hey. That's disconnected. There's the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey. So when the lower Hey is disconnected, you pick it up and you glue it, you connect it to the Yud, Hey, Vav, and that's Shuvah Tata. And the higher Hey is also could fall down, and you pick it up and you glue it up to the Yud, and that's Shuvah Ilah. And the Alter Rebbe will explain it, Barichus Gedoyla, about what happens and what happens. So, it's like unbelievable to think. So, vidu dvorim, charot alavar, it's the cream. The taneis v'segufim, that call no to do with tshuva. Taneis, yes, segufim is even a bad idea. But what's taka? But what's really the essence of tshuva? In order to do be'emes b'leiv shalom? Oh, I'm going to start telling you what the Zohar says about to tshuva, to return the Hey to the Yudke Vavke tshuva Elon tshuva Tator, and that is mamish the essence of tshuva. This is mamish cholos mitzvah tshuva v'ikra. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. There's the other things are cream, but for a yid to do tshuva be'emes b'leiv shalom. What do you mean tshuva? To come close to Hashem be'emes b'leiv shalom. So we were the other day. We were watching a video of Matzah Shabbos. We had a very special thing. We watched a video from the Rebbe for 15 minutes. So there was someone that said they went to Yechidus and they asked the Rebbe, why is it so important to learn Chassidus? He's learning Musa, so it's good enough for him. So the Rebbe told him that there's a mashal about the sun and the wind that were trying to that had a dispute. Each one said that they're stronger than the other one. And the wind said that I'm stronger, and the sun said I'm stronger. The wind started to, so they said, let's try. And there's Yankel is walking, and he's dressed with a coat, and the wind started to blow, and couldn't get the coat off him. He was, much as it blew, he was holding on to his coat. It could rip into shreds, but he was still holding on to it. The sun said, okay, you see, let me do my thing. You come out, it's warm, Yankel takes it off, and he's so the Rebbe said that this is the mashal that the Veltzog, and this is that the Musa tells a person how bad the Avedis is. Chassidus tells them how beautiful the neshama is, and the unbelievable opportunity to connect to the Eibishter. And therefore, it's like the difference of the wind and the sun. But and we see it over here in Iggeres HaTeshuvah, that the focus now, the Rebbe, that what's the emes of Alev Shalom? How do we do at Cholos Mitzvah Teshuvah V'Yikra? Is taka to understand what's a neshama, what's a neshama, how special is a neshama, how much satisfaction the neshama has from its connection in Yud Kei Vav Kei, how much satisfaction the neshama really has from that connection, and how much disappointment, how hurt the neshama is when it gets disconnected. So then when a person learns Iggeres HaTeshuvah well and understands what the neshama, what my neshama is really all about, and what brings my neshama pleasure and satisfaction, and what's the biggest disappointment to my neshama. The biggest pleasure is that connection to Yud Kei Vav Kei, when the neshama is connected, and the biggest disappointment, the biggest hurt is the disconnect. So then, a person is mesugel to do tshuva be'emes b'leiv shalom. Before he learned in Tanya, so he did a sin, and he said, "Okay, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again." But the Nisayan comes back again. It's a very strong Nisayan. And tomorrow he's back in the same situation. And he doesn't have ammunition. He doesn't have any tools in his toolbox to fight this. So maybe he has a couple of tools that tell him, "Oh, this is terrible." But the best tool, the Alter Rebbe says, I'll explain to you how beautiful your neshama is and how can a connection to Eibishter is so amazing. And we'll understand what's Teshuvah Tata and Teshuvah Lo. Oh, and that's going to help you in Iggeres HaTeshuvah.
How was the Shem over here?
That was Teshuvah Tata. Teshuvah is not so much avenir. Teshuvah Tata be'emes is the Alter Rebbe says later. Teshuvah Tata is where you bring back the neshama to where it was before the chait. And Teshuvah Lo is you bring back the neshama to where it was before it came into this world. Now, how to do it? How does it happen? It's not so much in your avira, but bli neder Shabbos Shuvah, which is right after Rosh Hashanah. There's a biur nifla from the Rebbe on this, and we'll talk. I'll talk about it. Let's go back into
What's
this.
also that the Rebbe like? Mitzvah Teshuvah V'Yikra. Is a topel and Eika?
Yes, so mitzvah Shabbos. I'll talk about the diukim. What's a scholas, and what's ikra, and what's lavar heter, and what's machavas abiu. Let's continue. Now, the Rebbe says, "V'gam, we have to understand." The Zohar Kodesh says that the tshuva doesn't help for poigem brisa. So how can you say such a thing? Which is even these three things is tshuva. So madach baba dezar gilaray shechas dam. You can do tshuva. So for this you can. The Rebbe says a beautiful biur. Why the Alter Rebbe is saying afil avodah zara gilaray shechas dam? And why is it for the third one he says vechulu, not chulu vechulu? As you know, the Alter Rebbe chulu means what's the difference of the Alter Rebbe says chulu or vechulu? Anyone?
Well, also one you mentioned.
Why does he mention it? So the biur is like this. That the Gemara says that a person who is over on Pegama Bris is like over the Avodah. And also Chazal say it's like Gilei Arois. How about Shfichas Damim? So Chazal also say it is a Shefach Damim. His Shefach Damim. But the Rogatchover says that how could you say it's Mama Shefach Damim? We say if a Jew kills a uber, a baby that's b'mei imoy, it's not considered shvichas damim. So madach, if the baby is already 38 weeks in the mother's womb, you kill the baby, it's not called shvichas damim. So the answer is it's not neregolov, but it's shvichas damim. So therefore, the Rebbe says that's a diuk nifla. I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent a little bit, not a diuk, but that when a person does a piyama bris, and there's 3 points in it. It's avodah zarah. It's avodah zarah. It's gilei reis. It's gilei reis. Shvichas damim. It's a question. Is it really mama? That's why it's vichulu. The chulu is meramez on the third thing. And when he says chulu, doesn't mean that you have to read the rest of that Maimon Chazal. When he says vichulu, means he's telling you, go read the rest of that Maimon Chazal. He doesn't want to quote it for whatever reason. And that's the reason in this case. So, we're saying that Pagam Abris is similar to Iggeres HaTeshuvah. And over there it helps tshuva. So why over here shouldn't help tshuva? Peter should have bereishis chochma. Shekavonas hazoyer shein moel tshuva tata kim tshuva elon. So let's understand. So let's understand what this is. The Rebbe says a few things that diuk nifla. He says gam hashikosa bezoyer hakodesh biktsas mekoymes shein tshuva me'elas lapagam brisa. What does it mean biktsas mekoymes? Oh, it's a funny lotion. The Rebbe says that if you look in the Zohar, there's three places where the Zohar says it. But there's a fourth place in Pashas Vayakol where he says if he does tshuva shlemta, that does help. So that's what the Alter Rebbe says. But in Vayakol there's a whole shaila. What's the girsa there? Therefore, he says but the Eishes Chachma says befedish that Chachma is one of the first big Bala Musar. It's considered very choshev that there's saying that the Zohar meant that Tshuva Tata doesn't help, but Tshuva Ilah does help. The Rebbe learns it in a very interesting way. The Rebbe says that from here we see. It sounds so when you learn the Tanya, it sounds like something so it's so strong. The Rebbe is saying that faket, what the Alter Rebbe is trying to say is like this. The opposite of what you might think. What the Rebbe is saying like this. You're going to say that Tshuva Ilah is very tough, as we're going to learn a little soon about Tshuva Ilah. So, but Tshuva Tata is not as difficult.
Maybe you could switch to it, or you can't even.
It's harder. It's hard. But we want to say it's harder to do. So the Alter Rebbe wants to say, so it's very close. It's very easy to do. So he's saying, you see, so listen, the Zohar says that Tshuva doesn't help. Oh, Tshuva Ilah helps. What do you mean? Tshuva Ilah is Tshuva. Nah. Shema Mino, that Stam Tshuva is Tshuva Tata. When he say a Yid has to do Tshuva, it means Tshuva Tata. It means Stam Tshuva is Tshuva Tata. And for that, the Zohar says that it doesn't help. But from here you see that Stam Tshuva is Tshuva Tata. The Rebbe says the emphasis that Tshuva Tata helps also for that type of sin. Elamai, in order to really fix up the pegam, you need to have Tshuva Ilah. And the emphasis the Rebbe says another nakuda. There's a thing, I said this, the Yesh Misha'oyer, in Avos Hashem, doesn't matter what level, it's Yeshus. You can't, there's no such thing as loving without Yeshus. Chassidus says that that's the way it is. No such thing as loving without Yeshus. And when there's love, you have to have. It was me, and I love this, the cup of oranges. It's very good because I have a certain value for myself. And I can have a relationship of love. There's no Yeshus, there's no Abba. Yida is versteht, is the Tenua Bittel. So even in the lowest level of tshuva, there's already, so even if a Yid does tshuva, only tshuva tato, so the sin is for sure forgiven. And a little bit of the begam is already nimcha. And the bottom line is, we see from here that the main tshuva is tshuva tato. But what's the difference between tshuva tato and tshuva ilah? What's the difference? So the answer is, I will explain in Tanya the empiric of the answer.
When it says tshuva ilah, it means really tshuva tato. It's a play on words.
No. The Zohar says it doesn't help tshuva tato.
Or you're saying that's like a tshuva.
Right, that's what the Zohar is saying. The Zohar is saying tshuva doesn't help. What do you mean? But when you're playing a game, the Zohar says tshuva ilah does help. We see from here that stam tshuva is tshuva tato. Hine lahav mat mezer tzarich lahagdam hashem b'fur b'akos of divrei Razal inyan hakoros mitzvah b'desharayim shavar abeir shachar min alav koros v'meis mamish kedem 50 shana. That when a person did an aveda, this guy of koros would die before the age of 50. But mitzvah b'desharayim meis mamish kedem 60 shana. That Hananya ben Ozer hanovi b'Yirmiyah, like the story of Hananya ben Ozer. Sometimes mitzvah b'desharayim they don't wait until he's 60, they kill him right away. But in Nimtza, the question is, in Nimtza b'chol dar v'dor, in every generation, we see that there are people that are sinners, and they're having sweet, long life. Why is he saying it? If they had a bitter, long life, so you could say, and if a person's never so poor, so it's say, But no, these guys are living a long life and they're living a sweet life. So how could that be? How is that possible? How is that possible? So the in Yuvan, the Alter Rebbe will start explaining. Perek Vav, the Alter Rebbe will give the answer.
It's like a lot of people think that having dead people.
Yeah. So within that, the emphasis you have to. The Alter Rebbe is only asking in the case of Misa b'dei Shemaim and Kodesh. Why is the Alter Rebbe not asking for Mrs. Bezdin? The Gemara says even though Mrs. Bezdin's bottle, but Din Mrs. Bezdin loy bottle. The Gemara says that what if Bezdin needed to give him skila or whatever, he'll end up falling under a wall and a chasra. So why isn't he asking that? The Rebbe says because that Tosus already asked. Tosus already answered. But here is a specific question. Maybe a little tshuva. The Rebbe says like this. It's a beautiful view. Why the Alter Rebbe is only asking him this? There is a dispute between the Choykri Yisrael. How does the punishment and reward work? Is it's a siba mesuba or it's a dovas guli? Is it in other words, does it work like this? You get brownie points, you get points in the chart, and you get enough points, you get a whack. You get enough points, you get an ice cream. So if you get 10 of this, the good points, you get an ice cream. You get some other 10 of the bad points, and you get huh?
By Arei Mikla.
What does it mean a person gets schar v'oinish? That's a mechlal. The shalom brings a machloikus. So how does it work? I remember when as a child, how much reading material was there? But there was a booklet, a few volumes. I remember one story that had such an impression on me. The person that was a rich man was throwing rocks at his field on the road, and an old man said, "Why are you throwing the rocks from a field that does not belong to you to a field that belongs to you, to a road that belongs to you?" And he laughed at him. And then he became poor, and he was old, and he sold his field, and he was an old man now. He's walking on the road that he once littered with rocks. And he slipped and he fell because of one of those rocks, and he hurt himself. And he understood what he was told years ago, that he's throwing rocks from a field that doesn't belong to him. So eventually he sold it to a road that belongs to him, because said, "Adam always belongs to you." And he realized that he fell on his own rock. So one mahalach is, if a person falls, it's always on his rock. If a person is rewarded, it's the energy that you create. You create bad energy, so that's what you live in. You create good energy, that's what you live in. So the machloikus, huh? Exactly. So both are true. The Rebbe says, in pshat, like mamish pshat. What would you say? What's Mrs. Bezdin? I mean, people are throwing rocks at him. I mean, as gruesome as it is, I mean that he didn't do it himself. People are throwing rocks. He's not throwing rocks on himself. So. Ridach Misa b'dei Shemayim and Kodesh, the Rebbe will explain, is a natural thing. Person cut off the source of his life. So Lagabe, if you're asking why Bisman Hazeh the Din Dalad misses, Toysa says Rachmonas, because it's a rock, it's a punishment. You had enough points in the chart, okay, so you get an ice cream, or you get a frashk. So the Eibishter said, okay, you know what, whatever, we'll negotiate it. But if it's a natural thing, he slips on the rock. It's his rock. Oh, he did a mitzvah. He finds his own bread. So how does it not what happened? The system broke down. You're telling me that it's a natural thing. Here you can't answer what Tosfos said. Oh, they've shed Rachmanis, the tshuva. And he threw the rock. So he's supposed to fall. How did he not fall? Or he put the bread on Pnei Hamayim. So what do you mean? He didn't find the bread. How can he not find the bread? The Torah tells you how it works. Is the system working or the system is not working? So that's what's bothering the Alter Rebbe. For this, the Alter Rebbe is going to have a biur nifla. What's taka? Why does the Alter Rebbe bring an example of Hananya ben Ozer Novi beYirmiyah? Biur nifla from the Rebbe. What is Hananya ben Ozer Novi beYirmiyah? You ever heard who this Hananya ben Ozer Novi? You ever heard about him? So only if you learn Rambam 3 parakim a day, you know who Hananya is. Because if you learn Yeshivish Masechtas, maybe you never got to Masechtas Sanhedrin. Not Peites, Sanhedrin, we're all the hand already, Peitek Chelik. It's Taka Geschmacke Gemara. But if you learn Rambam, it's every year you end up learning Yisoid HaTorah. In the beginning it's Geschmack. It's not before you get into the complicated, by Korid Letishi or whatever, any complicated halachas. So what's the story? The Mishnah says, the Braisa says that there was a story about Hanani ben Azar. What was the story of Hanani ben Azar? It's a Perek Chav Ches in Yirmiyah that the Eibush sent Yirmiyah to tell the Yidden that already went down to Bavel that they shouldn't think that they're coming back tomorrow after tomorrow. They should get married, they should have children, they should have a lot of children. But don't worry, in 70 years the Eibush will return them. And then came Hananiah ben Azar, and there was Shalim, and he said that no, in another 2 years the Kalim are going to come back. So Yirmiyah Novi says, "Wow, you have an award from the Eibush, and 2 years the things are coming back. Halavai, it'd be so good. I'm so happy." Okay. Then the Eibush talks to Yirmiyah. He says, like, "Hello, I told you that this is not happening." So the Eibush says you should go back and tell Hananiah that he's gonna die that year. That he died that year. It's interesting because we're in the week before Rosh Hashanah. It's the whole thing. At the end of the Perek, Shana he died, but he was nikfer. Next year, he died before Rosh Hashanah. He told his family that they keep him in the basement until Matzah Rosh Hashanah. So
He knew before Shana is going to die.
he knew he's going to die, but he wanted that people should think that Yirmiyah was wrong. So they should say that he was alive till Matzah Rosh Hashanah. Anyway, it didn't work. Everyone found out that he died before Rosh Hashanah. I'm just adding this little nakuda because we're the week before Rosh Hashanah. Okay. But in the discussion between, but there's a discussion between Hananiah ben Azar and Yirmiyah. It's very gishmak, that whole Perek. So why is the Alter Rebbe Dafka bringing this example? Like the Dafka, and it's Dafka Apella. It's Apella. The Braisa says there that there's 3 types of Nevi'im. 3 of them are Chayiv Misa B'dei Odom, and 3 are Chayiv Misa B'dei Shamayim. And what are the 3 examples that are Chayiv Misa B'dei Odom? One of them is Hananiah ben Azar. Why? Because he said in the Nevuah that was never, the Eibush never spoke to him. He lied. So that's, the Bezdin is supposed to kill him. The Bezdin is supposed to kill him. So it's a bad example. It's a bad example. Here we want to talk about Misa B'dei Shamayim. It's a bad example. Lidich, the Gemara itself brings 2-3 examples of a Navi which is Chayim Misa B'dei Shamayim. Idu Navi, and there's a story with Achav and a story with Yerova. That the story with Achav was that he was he was standing on the Perek Gimel and Shmuel Aleph. He was standing on the Mizbeach doing Avodah Zarah, and the Navi came and the Navi said from the Eibishter that this thing is going to stop and there's going to be an end to this. And the Eibishter said there'll be a sign that the Mizbeach is going to crack and it's going to fall apart and the Deshen is going to spill off. So Yerovam ben Avot got very angry. And he started to point to his servants, to the Navi, that they should take him to jail, they should kill him, whatever. As soon as he moved his hand dried up. He couldn't move his hand. And he cried in agony, and he called the Navi, and he asked for forgiveness. And he asked the Navi to come to his house. And the Navi said, the Eibush told me I should come here in one road, walk back in another road. I should not eat and drink until I come back to Yerushalayim. Okay, so he went back, but there was a Navi Sheker who told his children that he wants to meet this. Everyone in Shaimanim was talking about it. He wants to meet this Navi. So he came and he told this Navi, Ido Navi, that the Eibush told me you should come to my house and you should eat and drink. So he came to the house and a lie, right? So the Eibush told me, so he came. And while they were sitting at the Suda, the Eibush revealed himself to the Navi Sheker and told him to tell the Ido Navi that he's going to be killed by a lion. This is a Gemara story. This Gemara says from here we learn the that this guy was a Novi Baal, he was a Novi Sheker, he was a Neuswurf. But fort, he gave food and hat gemacht l'chaim, hat getrunken ein bisschen Bromfen together with Ido Anovi. So in that schus, he was Makabel Nevius Emes. Holshkin v'kavachayim, when you come to basement Achmedel and you have some chalent and l'chaim, Holshkin v'kavachayim, you could be zeichet to have Nevius Emes. So that was one story, and then so he went out of the road and the lion killed him, and the Novi Sheker went and he came and he picked up his body. The lion stood there and he took the body and he buried the Novi, and that was it. And he asked his children when he dies he should be buried with the Novi. So he was Chayiv Misa B'dei Shemayim. Why? Because he was over on the Nevuah. They should have told him. He should have known better. And then there's a second story later. Fast forward to Achav, the kingdom of Achav. So there's a long, complicated story, which is very relevant to what's happening today in Eretz Yisrael. That the Novi, the king of Damascus, who has a very strong army, and the Achav is terrified from this guy, and this guy is taunting him about going out to war with him. And the Novi says, "What are you scared?" The Abisha said that go out, kill them, wipe them out. And then then next year they come a second Mulchama, because they said, "Oh, we lost because it was Lakea Horim, but if it'll be in the Misha, we'll win." So the Abisha will show that it doesn't matter. The Yidden will win on the mountains and in the valleys equally. So, and they had that stunning victory. They killed 100,000 enemies, plus 27,000 died in some accident. So 127,000 enemies, mamish, better than the beepers and the pagers. 127,000 gepeget. So now the king of Damascus, Ben Hadad, was terrified. So the advisors told him that the Jews are very soft. Go out and make peace with them. So he went out, and the Galach Yisrael said, "Oh, Ochi, my brother, come sit with me in my wagon." And he made with him a peace agreement. He went to Camp David and made a Fedish peace agreement. And he even got a Nobel Prize for peace. I added this little piece, though. It's in the version. That's not. So,
Abraham was.
yeah. So then
almost like our
the Abisha said to Micha Novi that he should stand on the road, and he should tell his friend to hit him. So Micha Novi told his friend, another Novi, to hit him. His friend refused. So the Abisha said because he refused to do, he was mevater al divrei hanabuah. That's the Gemara says. The Abisha tells you to do something, you have to do it. The Novi says, "Such a guy. What do you mean? I'm going to take a stick and start until you bleed? I'm an Eidel guy. I don't do such things." No, what the Abisha says you have to do. So the Abisha says that lion is going to eat him, and that's kachav. The end of the story was that another Navi came over, and Micha said, "Hit me." So he started hitting him hard. The Abisha said, "He hit." So, and then the carriage of Achav is coming back from the war, from the peace agreement. So he sees that one guy is hitting another guy, and the Novi smeared his face with sand. So he stops the wagon. He says, "Stop! Why are you hitting someone?" So he says, so he says, "What do you mean? Why am I hitting him? I captured one of our enemies. And I was busy. I went to kill another one. I gave him for 2 minutes to hold on to the enemy. And I told him, if he escapes, I'm going to, nefesh tachas nefesh, or koifer kesef pritech." And the guy let the enemy go. So the king says, "Oh, he's right." So the Navi wipes off the sand and he says, "That's what God said. You see, you said right. That you let your enemy go, and you called him a brother, and you put him in your wagon. And you're not embarrassed that you're a Jew, and that's the way you treat the goy and you make a peace agreement with him, and you call him Ochi." So the Abisha says that that's the end of your kingdom, and that was the end. Why am I saying that this story is relevant? I don't think we have to explain why this story is relevant. It's very, very relevant to Zman Hazeh. when the
Right now, Netanyahu is there.
das heißt, so the Eibishter had geschickt al Yedei Advodav Anavim to say clearly that when the Yidden have the upper hand, when the Eibishter gives a Yeshua, it's like Shema Yeshua. There's really a tifan akuda here. When a Yid Nebach is in Poland and thus, and the Yidden more in Golis, what the Eibishter said, Al Tezgara Begoy, Al Tezgara Berosh Shosham Esachekes Lo. But when the Eibishter gives you Yeshua, who is the Yeshua? When you win a war, who do you think? This is the Ashkafa Shiloh. How did you win the war? So if you think you won the war, we'll make an agreement. They'll hit us. We'll go into Gaza. We'll hit them hard. Don't worry. We're the IDF. We're very smart. We'll know how to do it. Oh, we know how to do it. Come on, let's learn. Turned out we don't know how to do it. But that's a separate issue. That's a separate issue. The question is, Mikora de Dinakash. So why did you think you were victorious? If you think you were victorious, because so you're going to start making agreements. But if you think the Eibishter like Shema Yeshua, and the Eibishter said not to make an agreement, you won't make an agreement. Furthermore, where is the pride of the Jew that the Eibishter is on my side? So I should keep my head up high, not to call the Rosh the Goy Ochihu. So B'meila, that's the story. It's a very important lesson, which is Agab Orcha, relevant to what we're doing now. So these two stories, they're Chayiv Misa B'dei Shamayim. Why did Alter Rebbe not bring these two stories? Why did Alter Rebbe not bring these two stories? Are great stories. Why did he bring the story of Hananya, which was Misa B'dei Adam? Rebbe says, yeah, it's well, you have to learn 3 Prakim Rambam. That because the story was that's what the Gemara when the Rambam quotes it in the end of Hilchos Seder Torah. That from here we learn that a Novi that says that there's good things will come, that the bad things will come, and it doesn't come bad. It doesn't mean he's a Novi Sheker, because the Eibishter is Rachem v'Nicham al Hara. But if a Navi says something good is going to happen, it's impossible. The Eibush is never nicham, that the good is going to have to come. And if it's not going to come, it's a raya that he is a Navi Sheker. So what happened in that story? That Hananya ben Azor, Hanavi said that in 2 years, the Kalim are coming back. So up to 2 years, there's no way to know if he's a Navi Emes or a Navi Sheker. There's no way. So the Bezdin cannot kill him to say he's a Navi Sheker. You have to wait 2 years. He died b'shona ahi. True, Klapi Shmaya Gal, the Eibishter knows that this is baloney, that there was never such a nevuah. But if you're telling me that the Bezdin is trying to execute a certain the punishment, and if the Bezdin can't do it, the Eibishter will do it. So when the Bezdin can't do it, then the Eibishter will do it. So 2 years has to go by. But 2 years didn't go by, and he died b'shonai. So from here we see that true, and theoretically, had he lived for 2 years, then Bezdin would be obligated to kill him. But since he didn't live for 2 years, it was a misa b'dei shamayim. And why does Alter Rebbe like this example?
Why did we think originally it was the Adam?
No, because the Gemara says that from here we learn that a Navi that's oiver, that a Navi that is misnaba, mashaloi tzivelo hakel, is chayiv nisa from a bezdin. These are from the shlosh chayiv nisa of a bezdin. So the Rebbe is saying, yeah, it's true. The Gemara is bringing a saying that had Hananya ben Oza lived 2 years, then he would have been executed by bezdin. But since he didn't live for 2 years, so the fact that he died was not because misa b'dei adam, and Elamai Eibishter did it for them. It was Misa B'dei Shemayim. And why did the Alter Rebbe Dafka bring this? Because the other one was a gruesome death. It was B'dei Ari. So it's Kayotzim and a klal. Again, it's not something that this is not what the Alter Rebbe says. So the Eibishter made a lion. When the lion comes, and the pasuk says that the lion didn't eat his body. Not only that, the lion didn't attack anyone else. The Novi Sheker came along and picked him up, put him on his kamor, and the Ari is standing there and not doing anything. That's not what the Alter Rebbe is talking about. The Alter Rebbe wants to bring an example in Tanakh that it was a Misa B'dei Shemayim that he died naturally. and then you see that that's what happens. That as a consequence, that the and like and the poemim gamba misses midei shemaim from la'alter. Sometimes even la'alter. But if the Torah says that he's not going to live past 50 or 60, he's not going to live past 50 or 60. So what's happening? The system is broken. So for this, the Alter Rebbe is going to give a bir nifla, and the mitzvah that'll be in Perek Vav. Okay, it's the last year for Tanya for this year. So they shall helfen, Zayin Leden shel tshuva, like we said, that the Rebbe said that a person kol oisik b'toyres oila ki leker oila, so a person is learning Iggeres HaTeshuvah, it's as if he already doing tshuva, so he already went into tshuva tato, we're going into tshuva aloha,
How do you
sicher amadachom naksiva v'simatoyva v'shanatev
Often.
you go to Shiva a lot and never hit Shiva Tatar? That means you can't do Shiva Tatar.
No, that's first tshuva tato, that's true.
It's hard to do Shiva, you said.
That's what he said, that the Rebbe is saying that Taka, it's hard, but